guys, welcome back to our channel. Today is August 14th, Friday. We're still in quarantine in the Vereen household. Kids still upstairs, nothing's changed. So today for this unloading series, for this unloading segment, I want to talk to you about the topic, that's not my job. I know a lot of times in the professional world, we tend to receive assignments from our supervisors that may not be in our PD or maybe under other duties assigned, and we feel that they're trying to take advantage of us by getting us to do different tasks and different job duties that are not our jobs. And so that's why I wanted to talk to you today about the topic, that's not my job. And I firmly believe, I professionally believe that even if it's not your job, you should do it. Okay. Before you kill me, just give me a second. Let's dive into it. Let's go. Okay, so I know what you're thinking, Brittany. You told me to, make them tell me no, so I'm gonna tell them no. That's not my job, and why should I be doing things I'm not getting paid for? That's not in my PD. They're trying to take advantage of me. They lean on that clause in the contract, other duties assigned, and try to, place it on that and say you're gonna do it. And at the end of the day, it's just not my job. So why am I doing it? That's Kathy's job. Why Kathy can't do her job? Why I gotta do Kathy's job, my job, Joe's job, everybody's job? No, that's not what I'm saying. So let's take a woosah and just listen. So I wrote some things down because I want to make sure we comb through this very carefully so you get what I'm trying to say. You get the point. So first up, I want to say that what I see, and again, this is just my opinion, we are very educated. A lot of us are very educated, whether that education is a master's degree, a PhD, a certificate, doesn't matter. You're educated. A lot of us are overeducated, meaning, again, you received that PhD, you did multiple internships, residencies, clocked a lot of hours, in the classroom, outside of the classroom, so on and so forth. Doesn't matter the profession. You could be overeducated. But what I see happen a lot is we'll tend to then come into the professional world, whether that's massage therapy, higher education, accounting, doesn't matter. And we tend to feel like we're not paid enough, or the different duties that we're receiving, again, they're not your job, and you should be getting paid for your education and what you bring to the table. So the first thing I want to talk about is sometimes you have to be uncomfortable in order to be comfortable. And what I mean by that is when you graduate, regardless of what field, and you take that first step into your office or your new job, what have you, you're at the bottom. Everybody knows experience now is key. Some might be more than some education, because when you step into that job site for the first time, it doesn't matter if you graduated in human resources. They're going to have a higher system that you may not be familiar with unless you've had on-the-job training. If not, then you're basically starting from the bottom. So you're going to have to be uncomfortable. You're going to have to go in there, and your supervisor may assign you one or two tasks that may not have been in your job description, and you may say, well, that's not my job, I shouldn't do that. This also goes for people who've been on their job 10 years. If you've been on your job 10 years, 5 years, what have you, and you get a promotion, you get a raise, and you're stepping into that next level, you're not starting from the bottom, but there still might be a slight learning curve there. You don't know everything. So again, you may have to do things for free that you're not getting paid to do in order to learn. I say this because I want you to understand, when you learn and you gain skills and experience, that is worth something. You may not be receiving a monetary, exchange for that, but it is worth something. And so we have to get out of the mindset of, well, I'm not getting paid to do this, so I'm not going to do it. Case in point, I had a supervisor one time who flat out told me, I can't pay you what you're worth, but I can pay you with knowledge, and I can pay you with a skill set. I can provide you a skill set that's going to help you throughout your career. It's going to help you grow. And that's exactly what happened. And what I tend to see is people who take on those duties and learn from them, you get to place that on your resume. No one can take that from you. And again, you build your worth. So if something happens in that company and they're letting people go, or they're furloughing people or whatnot, they may say, hold on, we can't let Renee go, because Renee knows everything. She's the only person that knows X, Y, and Z because she took the time to learn, regardless if she was getting paid for it or not. So don't let your pride get in the way of your future check. I know you're thinking about the check today, but you also need to be thinking about that future check. And so that was point number 1. And point number 2 was, don't let your pride get in the way. Another point that I want to make is, I hear a lot, I'm getting a bag, I'm out here hustling, and then you go to work and you say, that's not my job. But you hustling. Hustling means sometimes you may have to do some things you don't want to do, or you may have to get it how you live, all that stuff. And, that's a part of the hustle, is sometimes doing things you don't want to do. Again, we have to stop thinking that when we refer to the bag, it is always about monetary. It's about money, coin, currency. Fill your bag with some knowledge. Fill your bag with some skills. Okay, so that can boost, your bag in the future and make it bigger. Don't just think about, your bag in the monetary sense, if that makes sense. Another point that I want to make is, again, depending on where you are in your career, you may not be in a position to say no. We, again, have to step down off of pride, because nothing in life is free. You're going to gain your knowledge from the classroom, and you're going to gain your knowledge in the real world. Both of them will be teachers to you. And so I want to talk about, some people are just not in a position to say no. And that's okay, because I feel like we think, okay, well, I've seen case in point. Somebody say, no, that's not my job, I'm not going to do it. And then the supervisor moved on to another person who had no problem doing the task and completed the task and was fine. And then that person goes on to say, oh, she's just, teacher's pet or something like that. Or, oh, she's just, now they favor her, or they give her favoritism because she just does what she says. That's not necessarily the case. Again, if you have to get under understanding, if you don't do it, now we're talking about a business, you work for a business. If your supervisor asks you to do something and you don't do it, they're going to go on to the next person. And that person can possibly gain and learn a skill set that now you don't get the opportunity to have, And so, don't just always place yourself in a position to say, oh, I'm in a position to say no. That's not always the case. I'm gonna play devil's advocate in a second. Just bear with me. I know some of y'all are saying, Brittany, you making some good points, but still, that ain't my job. I've been on my job 30 years. I can say no. I understand. We're gonna get to you in a minute. Let's hold on. So, another thing that I want to say is, again, I'm not perfect. I have said before, that's not my job. and then fast forward a year later and say, dang, I wish I would have learned that skill, because now, they've upgraded the system. And if I knew that, I could apply for, that next level position, because that's a requirement. But I let me get in the way of that, because I'm listening to people. I'm listening to people in the street. I'm talking to coworkers. We're complaining, so on and so forth. And so I let myself get in the way of, me growing professionally. And so I know what that looks like. I can also speak to a time when I was asked to do multiple things when I started out in my career that I did not receive, money for, payment for. And again, that truly helped me when it was time to apply for different jobs and things like that. When you're sitting in a room and you're having a meeting and it's your time to speak, or people are talking about things that you understand, when you're at the top of your game, when you have that skill set and you have it down pat, and you're like, I'm glad I got that. I'm glad I took the time to learn, because at the end of the day, no company is ever going to be able to truly pay you, your worth if you're, just completely at the top of your game. I'm not talking about, if you the CEO for Apple. I'm talking about regular people. Let's bear with me now. There's some outliers out there. Let's focus. And so you have to understand that, again, when you went to college, you paid to go. You received an education. You were taught. You gained knowledge. But a lot of us did not gain skills. That comes from being on the job. That comes from doing the job. So when you enter into, the professional world, into your job market, you have to understand that you're gonna have to pay for those skills. You're gonna have to learn those things. Supervisors nowadays are not taking the time to train, like they used to. Coworkers are training coworkers. So learn as much as you can. Don't let your pride get in the way of you feeling like you have to receive a monetary gain in that moment in order to do a job. Now, for my peoples out there saying, no, Brittany, that's not my job. If you have learned a skill set, I'll give you an example. When I said, that's not my job, this is a previous job. I had been on my job for over a year. I was completing tasks I was not getting paid to do, so on and so forth. And what ended up happening was, supervisor asked me, hey, we have X, Y, and Z going on, all these things you've learned, this new system that we have. I think, it'd be great if you could lead it, different things like that, because I know you know what to do. And I wrote out a proposal. I said, could you give me some time to think about it? So I went back, I wrote out a proposal, I submitted it, I asked for a meeting, I requested a meeting, I met with my supervisor, and I sat down and I had a 6-page proposal. And I presented it, and I said, throughout my years here, this is the knowledge and the skills that I've gained. You want me to now move forward with this. This is how much it's going to cost you. And that's the way I said, that's not my job. I didn't just go off and say, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not my job. I presented it in a way that it spoke for itself. You understand. That's not my job. Now you're asking me to take something to a higher level that, technically when you add all these skills together, now they are becoming a job. They are becoming something more than just other duties assigned. Now we need to talk about it. That's a different conversation, And so, long story short, I received the raise, moved forward in my career, so on and so forth. So it's a way that you present, that's not my job. Just flat out saying that's not my job. That's not the way to do it. Again, a lot of things you don't have to verbally say for somebody to understand, like specifically, the way that you present yourself, the way that you present your case, your supervisor will understand what you're trying to say and have a more found professional respect for you, and not just feel like you're just complaining. But again, there are supervisors out there that take what's the word I'm looking for? Advantage of their employees, and they push that other duties assigned like it's not nothing. And trust me, I know. And so I understand. And it's nothing wrong with standing up for yourself and saying, you know, that's not my job, but it's the way that you do it. You know, again, I do believe in being respectful at all times. That's me. That's how I was raised. That's never going to change about me. Respect is due to everyone, and it costs you nothing. It costs you nothing to be respectful. And so it's the way that you present your case. It's the way that you present yourself to say, that's not my job. And you would be surprised in the professional world when you place something in writing and you present it to a supervisor and say, that's not my job. You'd be surprised how quickly some of them step back and rethink what they're doing, because now it's in writing. And so they can be held liable for them asking you to do something. And so I just wanted to talk to you guys about that today. I just wanted to unload that off my spirit. I've heard a lot of that, in my professional career. And, I get both sides, but I feel that there's a way to present something if it's not your job. Again, there are people out there, there are people in high positions that take advantage of people in lower positions. But you have to understand, any task that's given to you, always ask yourself, how can I make this work for me? If I'm doing this task, what job, because look around your office, what job could I move into? What slot could I move into if I learned this skill? Plan, orchestrate. Nobody's going to be a bigger advocate for you than you. So don't always look at the negative side and say, well, that's not my job, I'm not going to do it. What can you gain from learning this skill? Because once you learn it, nobody can take it away from you. And so I just want us to be mindful and be careful, moving forward with everything that's going on with how we approach things. And that's it. That's it for me. That's my opinion. Feel free to disagree. If so, tell me why you disagree. Don't just say, Brittany, no, disagree. Tell me why you disagree. I accept all opinions. And so, I'm still learning, so don't forget to subscribe. Again, if you want to support me, I would appreciate if you could like my video and subscribe, hit the bell, and like my Facebook page. I truly appreciate all the support I've received so far. It's truly a blessing, and I'm very thankful and I'm very humbled by it, and I'm very appreciative of it. So I just want you guys to know that. And so no team meeting today. I've already held you, I think, over 15 minutes now. I'm gonna end with this one closing. I'm not gonna hold you long. Just remember that, nothing is invaluable unless you make it to be so. So if you are tasked to do something, and it's not going to put you out, it's not going to strain you, it's not going to mess with your blood pressure and your disability, if it's not going to put you out, I'm not saying just do it, but think about it and think about what can you gain from that. Don't just go off the deep end with saying, that's not my job. Because, again, we have to continue to build ourselves and to gain those skills and gain that knowledge. College will only give you so much. You're going to have to learn a lot in the real world that I just believe college is just not going to teach you. Life will be your teacher, and that's where you will get most of your lessons. Thank you. I hope you guys have a good Friday, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye.